My name is Amy Speidel, and I believe that we are at a time in history that is pivotal and exciting, which is one of the reasons why I share conscious discipline. And my journey with conscious discipline began in my own classroom. I was a preschool teacher for a little over 20 years. And I noticed that when I would approach children who were having a conflict, one would look as if the world were going to explode in front of them, and the other one was just waiting for that child to experience whatever it was I was bringing. After I learned conscious discipline, was that I could walk over to two children whose faces were both looking up, expecting to be helped and supported, and that changed the way that I was able to teach. And it gave me a tool set that said, I know how to teach instead of judge and give disciplines. And I think in the process of that, I realized that parents were also needing that kind of support. So as my skill set grew in conscious discipline, it became something that I wanted to share with the parents in our center. In my own personal life, I have had foster children, and I have been an adoptive parent, and I have been a birth parent, and I am currently a grandparent, and a grandparent of, because we adopted children, of both very young children and of teenagers. And so being in the mess of all the different relationships that occur between children and parents and children and teachers gives me a lot of stories, a lot of personal examples. And yet, having been there, knowing the challenge, but also knowing the power of putting these skills into play in those moments and the reward of that. So when I'm with parents and teachers, there is that relationship that forms because I believe in them, and I believe that they know that because I've also experienced many of those same situations. At one of the parent presentations that I was doing, I had a dad come up afterwards whose oldest child was 5, and he said, if we've been doing this without using the conscious discipline skills for this many years, how long will it take before our son is able to trust that we're going to really have these skills? And, you know, have we already damaged him, and all those kinds of feelings that come up. And I assured him that children are very willing to grow as we grow and give us space and all those kinds of things. He came back the next week and he said, you know, we were at dinner tonight and my son asked us where we were going, and I said, well, we're going to another parenting class. And he said, well, Dad, that must really be helping because you haven't yelled at me in a very long time. And just that realization that the children are so willing to give us the space to grow. And that's why I think conscious discipline has this amazing role to play in the schools and in homes, so that we are raising this next generation to really be all that we want the world to be. One of the strongest things that I can provide for the people in my life, for the children in my life, is to make mistakes and be willing to recover. Because sometimes we make mistakes and we beat ourselves up, and it just doesn't take us anywhere. And so what I have learned in my life is how to just accept what is and learn what can I do now, and how can I really bring this to a place where I can grow and those around me can have the space to grow. And that's what I want to do for you. I want to be able to give you that tool set that you know in your heart you already have, and yet perhaps there just aren't the words around it yet. And by giving it words, you give it legs, and then you take it further into the world. And we can do this. We can do this together, and we can change the world.